We know the goal is to have Terry Bussey play corner, but are we going to see him much on offense?
You are Locked On Aggies, your daily podcast on the Texas A&M Aggies. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome on in to Locked On Aggies. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak. Thanks for making Locked On Aggies your first listen every single day. This episode is brought to you by Nissan. Are you the kind of driver that likes to push things a little further? Ever wondered what adventure could be around the next corner? Take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Check them all out today at nissanusa.com. So, we've talked a little bit about this at times, and I think it's a really interesting conversation to see what Terry Bussey is going to do at Texas A&M. How is he going to be used? Incredibly gifted football player, a player who can do it all. They don't come very often. Travis Hunter at Colorado has done that, and he's tabbed one of the best players in all college football because of his ability to play both sides of the ball and be really good on both sides of the ball. And I think Terry Bussey can do the same thing. So let's read this quote from Coach Elko regarding this. When you look at him on tape, he's an absolutely elite athlete. He's going to come in as a corner, as we anticipated, but will certainly have a role with the ball in his hands as a returner and as an offensive specialist in some certain situations. So that's kind of what I like. I like the idea of, hey, he's a corner. I like that he's going to return kicks. That's great. Return punts, that is great. No question he needs to be doing that. He's great. He's dynamic with the football in his hands. But I think having drawn up plays to bring him on the field, when he is the guy that, and I always say putting things on tape is one more thing the defense has to prepare for. Okay, if they put Bussey in the game, they might run this, or this. You have to be prepared for this, and this. That's more things that the opposing defense has to plan for, has to be ready for, has to, know how to deal with. So I think that Terry Bussey playing offense has an absolute ton of upside for this football team. Now, I'm not saying every down. Once again, just like Coach Elko said here, I'm not saying every down. I'm saying, a couple offensive snaps, a couple plays to help improve the offense or help, maybe give a spark. And it doesn't have to be, it can be, you can have them run around, but you could have them, it could be a screen, it could be an end around, it could be, you could do a double pass. I mean, there is a ton of things you can run with Terry Bussey. He can truly do it all on the football field, besides in the trenches, and you never know. I mean, from what I've seen from Bussey, maybe you can stick him at offensive line, he can make it happen. But, I just think when you have an elite athlete like this, when you have an elite athlete like Terry Bussey on your roster, there is no reason to waste that by leaving him on the bench, on one side of the ball. Now, as I said a minute ago, I'm not saying every single snap because, we saw that with Travis Hunter. He got banged up. It was hard for him to be out there and play. And it's hard. It's flat out just hard to be conditioned. These are, some of the most SEC football players, NFL football players are some of the best athletes in the world. And they struggle to play all this many snaps on offense and defense. It is really tough to do. It is just not easy to go out there and play a ton of these snaps on both sides of the football. It just flat out is not. So, I think that using him situationally, and some might say, well, if you put him out there, it's a dead giveaway. No, because there's so much you can do out of it. You can fake a screen to his side and then go to the other side. I mean, there's so much. He'll draw so much attention because of how elite he is with his legs, because of how elite he is moving the football, how elite he is just with the ball in his hands. He will, pick up. I mean, he will lead to the defense stressing, worrying about things, needing to game plan for another player that won't get a ton of snaps. I mean, like if you had to ask Andrew how many snaps, if you had to guess right now on a week-to-week basis, is Terry Bussey going to get on the offensive side of the football? I would say maybe 10, not maybe 8, 6, 5, not a ton of snaps. It's going to be package-based, but I think it'd be great if you could have him in there a handful of snaps a game because, like I said, it's one more thing the defense has to prepare for. Okay, we have to prepare for all your receivers, and we got to prepare for Terry Bussey, one of the most elite athletes in the SEC, So I think you have to prepare for that. Now, I think corner is going to be where I still think that corners be where he makes his money in the future. I do. I just think elite corners are harder to come by. And so I think that's where he makes his money in the future. As I've said, Brian Smith has said when he's on the show, there is no doubt in my mind that this is going to be a NFL football player. Terry Bussey will be, I still think, a first-round pick in the NFL draft. That's just how talented he is. He is too good. He is one of the best football players I have ever watched put on the shoulder pads, put on the helmet in the history of ever. He is that good. So he will be an NFL player, no question there. But and then somebody asked Andrew. I mean, once again, he's going to be a true freshman. Are you sure we're going to see him out there? Now Coach Elko has said manage expectations, and I will say the same thing. This is a true freshman we are talking about. It is not easy to get on the football field as a true freshman and do what York did and do what some other players have done throughout their college football careers, Texas A&M careers, other places, whatever. It's not easy to do that. It's not easy to hop on the football field and succeed as a true freshman. And like I said, as Coach Elko has kind of said that, like, hey, guys, let's manage expectations. Do manage expectations, but I don't see a world where he's not on the field as a freshman. I think he will win a starting corner job, and I think he will win the returner job. I think he will win some offensive snaps as a true freshman. I just think he's too good not to. I think he's physically ready. I think he is in the position he needs to be to go out there and get legitimate snaps as a freshman, starting more than likely on defense. That's how good he is. I mean, once again, watching him in the the Under Armour All-American game, right? He looks elite against the elite of the elite in his class. He looks great. He looks like one of the most athletic and elite players out there. So I don't think he's going to struggle to be ready to go as a true freshman. I think he can come right in, get it done. I think he's going to be really good, dominant player. And in the corner room, like I said, you all know how I feel this is a talented corner room. I think the coaching staff did a great job bringing players in via the portal. I've been very happy with all of that. But I do think that Terry Bussey still wins the job starting at corner with all the guys you brought in, with Will Lee and Des Ricks and Donovan Saunders. I still think he's going to find a way to win a corner job. And if he doesn't, remember, ladies and gentlemen, if he doesn't, he is a true freshman. That's the reality here. If Will Lee and Des Ricks just, hey, we've been in college football a little bit longer, we've played, and they win the job, that's okay. Terry Bussey's going to be on the field in some capacity this season, whether it's returning the football, whether it is, whatever it is, he's going to be on the football field in some capacity. I can promise you that. But, I know manage your expectations, but goodness, I can't wait to see this young man out on the football field wearing maroon. I mean, I just can't. He is that good of a player. He's going to have that good of a freshman season and that good of a career that is going to lead to him playing his NFL, dreams and reaching those NFL dreams. He is going to be an incredible player, and I cannot wait to see it happen. We are going to move on and talk a little bit about the baseball team. They go 3-0 on the weekend, thanks to the Texas Rangers for hosting, but the baseball team looks great. We're going to talk about that coming up right here on Locked On Aggies. But first, I want to tell you about our friends over at Nissan. Are you the kind of driver that likes to push things a little further? Ever wonder what adventure could be around the next corner? Our friends at Nissan have a lineup of SUVs with the capabilities to take your adventure to the next level. One car is the Nissan Rogue. It's perfect for city drives and great escapes. Class exclusive Google built-in is always there, updating assistant to call on for almost anything. So, gone are the days of connecting your phone. Google Assistant is right there for you. The 2024 Rogue is the perfect midsize crossover for your next adventure. Then the Nissan Pathfinder. It has room up to 8, an expansive cargo capacity, and an advanced available 4x4 capacity. With 284 horsepower and up to 6,000 pounds of towing, when adventure calls, the Pathfinder is there to answer. 2 incredible vehicles. Take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Shop nissanusa.com today. So the baseball team goes 3-0. Last week I told y'all, before I had researched the other teams, USC and Arizona State, I was like, this is a weekend. These are quality teams. You go 2-1, cool with it, right? That was kind of where my head was at. Then I researched those 2 opponents and said, no, you have got to go 3-0 this weekend. You have got to go 3-0. Now, if you would have dropped one to an opponent like this, is the world going to end? No, of course it's not. The world's going to keep spinning, but it did feel like you needed to go 3-0 this weekend against opponents that I just don't think are flat out that great. And what do? You go 3-0. You win the first game against Arizona State 4-0. Now, not a ton of base knocks. The Texas A&M pitching was elite. From Prager and Assenbeck, you get combined 2 hits from those guys, shutout, 12 strikeouts. Take that all day long. Montgomery hits a big 3-run bomb. And then, of course, they're mad at him and try and hit him. But big 3-run bomb from him. Srell almost also hit a bomb. So a couple homers. Getting out to an early lead. Texas A&M did that in this game. It was great to see. And, it leads to your pitch. If you can give your pitching staff a lead and they're dialed in, you're going to win a baseball game. Pitching staff was in cruise control. You had an early lead thanks to a couple bombs in business. That leads to a 4-0 victory over Arizona State in the first game. Not a ton of hits from Texas A&M as a whole. But, and the crazy thing about Montgomery's 3-run homer is, he was swinging from the left side, and he hit this ball in the left center gap. And I always say, gap-to-gap power is a real thing. Being able to go from the right center gap to the left center gap with power is a real thing. But when you can send the ball over the left center wall, you have legitimate, as a left-handed bat, if you can go deep to dead center to left center, you have legitimate true power. You don't just have pull power. And that's what we learned from Montgomery is, listen, he's not just a pull power guy. He can get power from really anywhere. So, I was really happy seeing him do that. I think that he absolutely, hammered that baseball. That ball was just annihilated. So big win there to start the weekend in the right note. The pitching was great. The bats didn't show up a ton, but they showed up enough to get the win. That's what matters sometimes. You're not always gonna going to get 12, 13, 14 hits. Sometimes you're going to need your pitching staff to help you out when you just put up a few runs, and that's what happened in this game. Then in the second game, on Saturday, the Aggies take down USC 9-3. So, down a run early, and then in the 5th through 9th innings, the Aggies score 9 runs to go win this baseball game. Once again, Montgomery 3 hits, 2 RBIs, Appel a couple hits, gets on base 5 times with 3 walks as well. You get 12 total hits in this game, but you do strike out 12 times. That was one thing that a little bit, y'all know I hate striking out. When you strike out, it leads to, if you got a runner on first and second, nobody out, you strike out, right? They're a double play away from being out of the inning. Strikeouts kill rallies. Strikeouts make it impossible to put up a, crooked number. If you are striking out, it's hard to put up a crooked number. So that's kind of my thought there. And then the pitching staff, only 5 hits, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts, 3 earned runs. So you'll take that 9-3 victory. Staff is good once again. The bats come alive in this game though, leading to the 9 runs. So you'll take that. It's if in a game where your staff's good and your bats and your bats are good, you'll take that all day long. So that's what went on against USC. Then against Arizona State in the final game, you win this one 10-5. It was a blowout early. They scored a couple runs in the later innings to a 3 spot to kind of make the score look a little tighter than it really was. It was a great win. It was a great, Montgomery gives you a grand slam to really blow the doors open in this one. I believe that was in the second inning to make it like a 7-0 game or a 6-0 game or something like that. Lavalleta's a hit and a couple an RBI and a couple walks in this game. Yeah, 8 total hits. So once again, not an explosion. You actually get 8 out hit in this game, 8-10. But your offense once again strikes out 11 times, which, as y'all know, I do not love that. Then the pitching staff, only 3 walks, 10 hits, 10 strikeouts. So there was a lot of traffic, but 10 hits, 3 walks. I didn't check if there's any hit by pitches, but so a handful of base runners. But you were able to get 10 strikeouts. 10 strikeouts, help cancel out those 13 base runners. So, you can live with that if you're able to. Okay, we let some guys on base at times, no question, but then we got the strikeouts when we needed them to get not let the big inning happen, stuff like that, leading to the 10-5. So, and I always say, letting your pitchers pitch in high-pressure situations never hurts. Sometimes it helps to let your pitchers, pitch in those high-pressure situations and help, them get those stressful innings, you know what I mean? That stuff can be helpful. The pitchers got him in this game with, the handful of guys on base throughout the game. So you'll take that all day long. You will take your pitchers getting and succeeding with stressful innings all game long. So that's my thoughts on the win. I mean, you've got some more challenging opponents coming up, no question. But and I've seen the folks saying, well, Texas A&M still haven't played anybody. Well, I mean, once again, you play your schedule. These are somewhat big names when it comes to baseball programs that just haven't had great starts to the season. And you took care of business, what would people say if you go 1-2 this weekend? Okay. It's like, hush. I mean, Texas A&M goes 3-0. That's all they can do. They beat the crap out of everybody. That's all you can do. You got Texas coming up. You got some more challenging games coming up. And then, of course, SEC plays coming up. So people won't be able to say a word when SEC plays here. But, that's my thoughts there on this baseball team in the 3-0 weekend, which we will take all day long. So the basketball team gets a big win over Georgia, 70-56. Keeps you alive in the NCAA tournament. We'll talk about that win and what it means coming up right here on Locked On Aggies. But first, I got to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Bet on all of your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same game parlays, exclusive props, and a ton more. Football season might be over, ladies and gentlemen, which you hate that. It might be over because, well, it is over. Not might be over. It is over. But you still got a ton of fun stuff to bet on. You got baseball. The MLB will be back soon. You can bet on college baseball, NBA basketball. You've got college basketball. The NCAA tournament's coming up. Who's going to win the national championship? There is still a ton of fun things to bet on over at FanDuel, so go check them out. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA and the Locked On Podcast Network. So the basketball team does get a much-needed 70-56 win over the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia is a team, I think, a little bit worse than A&M, but still in that tier of they're not good, they're not bad, they're just kind of middle of the road. They can win some basketball games. They can beat you if you play bad. And Texas A&M went out, did their job, score 70 points, hold your opponent to 56. Boots has 20 points and 10 rebounds for a double-double. Garcia has 11 points and 10 rebounds for a double-double. Obaseki has 12 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. I love seeing that. Other guys get involved. Like, listen, Wade had a really bad game. He was 1 of 8 in this game. I believe it was 4 points was his total, 1 of 8 from the field. I also love, though, that Wade was 1 of 8. There's some games where he would be like that and he would just keep shooting until he's 2 of 19 and you're just wasting possessions. Some nights the shots won't fall. It's just reality. That was the case for Wade in the game last night. So he started passing the basketball. I believe he had 5 assists. I forgot to write that down, but about 5 assists. He was moving the basketball, getting it to his teammates for open looks, doing a good job of, hey, I'm not having my best scoring day today, so I'm going to move the basketball through the air, get it to other people, and let some other guys get involved. And like I said, it's great to see Garcia in double figures and Obaseki in double figures due to get 23 points combined from those guys. We're so used to seeing, 20 points from Boots and 20 points from Wade, and then what else? We don't got anything else. So I think it was really good to see that in this game. The Aggies go 14 for 17 from the free throw line. We'll take that. Really, we will take that. What we won't take is 10 for 17, which feels like what you would get on a normal night. The Aggies shot 35.8% from the field and 26.7% from deep, but they made 8 3-pointers. They were 8 of 30, which once again, I'll take that all day long. I'll take 8 of 30 because that means you made 8. I'll take that, especially the way I don't hate missed threes for this Texas A&M team because you get long rebounds. Long rebounds lead to open shots, lead to kickouts for open threes. Long rebounds help you, and missed threes, often lead to long rebounds. And a great offensive rebounding team like Texas A&M can collect on those long rebounds. So, it was really good to see that. It was really good to see Texas A&M make 8 threes from deep. That was good to see. You haven't seen them make a ton lately, so that made me happy. A lot of threes from the guys. But you get a big win. You keep yourself alive. All we can do now is you're fighting for a postseason berth. You got to keep fighting. That's all you can do. There's really nothing you can do here other than, keep fighting. It's not going to be handed to you. You have to win your next 2 games. You still got to go to Ole Miss, and you still got to host Mississippi State coming up on Wednesday. So if you go 2-0, you have a chance here. If you don't, I think you're done for. So, and to go 3-0 in these last 3 games, you have to start the first one with a win. And Texas A&M did that, taking down the Georgia Bulldogs. The Mississippi State game is coming up. That's on Wednesday. We'll break that down more on Tuesday. But of course, so we'll break that down either tomorrow morning or Wednesday morning. But, it's going to be a game where Mississippi State's physical. They like to bang you around. They like to hit you. They like to elbow you. They push you. They do everything they can to try and rebound the basketball, to try and get positioned down low on the block. That's how they play their game. They're a really solid basketball team. The net rankings love them. The KenPom numbers love them. This is a solid basketball team. Mississippi State, I believe they've beaten Auburn on their home floor. They beat somebody else on their home floor. Maybe it was Tennessee. They've beaten some quality basketball teams on their home floor. And it's a tough place to play there. But, of course, this game is in Reed Arena. So, go take care of business against this team. Play your game. Rebound the basketball, offensive rebounds. Get Wade going, get Boots going, keep Garcia and Obaseki involved. Get the other guys involved. I think it leads to a win. And if you win this game, I think you are one win away, a road game against Ole Miss, from having a real shot to get yourself in the NCAA tournament. So a lot of excitement coming up on the basketball side of things and the baseball side of things. But that is going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Aggies. Thank you all so much for being here every single day. I really do appreciate it. I hope everybody enjoyed a weekend of basketball and baseball. A lot of victories for the Aggies. Ton of fun there. Everybody, hope you had a great weekend. Hope you have a great Monday today. Thanks for being here, and we will see you next time.